Hi guys, I got this off of Campus Reform. They usually have some good ones. You won't believe this, but basically there's a police investigation after peers mock safe spaces at Ohio University. Ta-da! Yes, there was a graffiti incident, but the college Republicans wrote a message on their school's graffiti wall. So they were literally allowed a graffiti wall, folks, okay? And they mocked the idea of safe spaces, as Republicans would. Thank God. Somebody used their brains. And the peers are now demanding a police investigation into the matter. I can't get a police investigation for long lists of things against my character and everything else, and these guys are getting it over a freaking graffiti wall. A graffiti wall, something you're supposed to graffiti. Well, we know who the admins of that university are protecting. In case you don't know the joke, the Democrats and the liberals thereof. Which, if you haven't heard, not all liberals are Democrats and not all Democrats are liberals, but majority seem to fit the bill. Okay, so there is an unfortunate situation here with what this actually says. For some reason, trigger warning, not even sure what that was referring to, if that was guns or anything else. There are no safe spaces in real life. You can't wall off the First Amendment. I really don't know what trigger warning is. I mean, yes, it could refer to handguns and firearms and such, but as for what it actually means, I don't know what that first one actually means. Right. So I read that. Trigger warning, there's no safe space in real life. You can't wall off First Amendment. CR members painted on the wall, later claiming responsibility for the messages. In response, one student demanded mandatory investigation and another vowed to beat the shit out of the CR members. Well, sounds like there's going to be a fight on campus, and it sounds like if they're going to beat the shit out of somebody, sounds like that's a threat of a felony. It sounds like the officers are taking the wrong side of the police investigation, if that's true. Let me read that one more time, making sure I got that right. Okay, so one student demanded a mandatory investigation. So in other words, these would be the people who did not do the graffiti wall. Okay, they demanded the investigation. Okay, so we at least know whose side we're talking about. And another person who basically went alongside saying there should be a mandatory investigation, vowed to beat the shit out of the CR members. So not only was somebody being violent or being overly critical of a graffiti wall, which is what it's supposed to be, but they threatened a felony offense against what is supposed to be a First Amendment graffiti art. I don't really know what to call it, but you guys see it right here. And the police are going to investigate, or supposedly investigate, the wall incident to possibly bring charges up on the people who wrote the offensive words, but not charge the people who said they were going to beat the shit out of those people individually. Sounds like the officers, even campus officers, are on the wrong side of the law already. Now, chances are, more than likely, they'll bring charges upon every group, and they'll settle it with peer mediation and everything else. But personally, folks, I mock safe spaces all the fucking time. I could give a rat's ass about a safe space. If somebody actually put a safe space in a public area, I think I'd have to go and defecate just right then and there. Or, in like a government building or something. If they actually made this an actual law saying, well, this is a safe space, you can go here to feel safe, I would walk in that building and take a shit or a piss and then go to jail for that, because that is just absolute bullshit. Not that not that hopefully they're ever going to, because that would be just fucking retarded. But at some point or another, the police investigation needs to realize that they're working for the wrong side of the situation here. Somebody wrote something on a wall, and then they had a felony threat against them. So, yep, wrong side. With the banker situations, why does that not surprise me? We're just doing our job. No, you're not. If you're doing your job, you'd go arrest the bankers. You'd go and arrest the bankers. You'd close down Soros, Rothschilds, and all those wheelie deals involved in all this shit, all the way up to the UN members and the intelligence gurus that are basically starting and aiding into conflict, what's going on in the United States, and then you'd go handle it in a global level. And every law enforcement officer could take part in that legally. So, but they aren't. Therefore, well,